Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan from Mana Bluff here. And for this week, instead of doing one of my normal drafts, I'm trying Sealed. I rarely play, but I've had these play points in my account for forever. I have no clue when I got them or how I got them, but they've just been there. So I figured this week I'm in the mood. I'm jumping into the Phantom Swiss Sealeds that they always have. I would love to if they did this for earlier on in the sets, because I think Sealed's a really great way to learn the cards. But I assume that since they push the pre-release and the pre-release and the release tournaments, that they tend not to allow the Phantom events to fire because there's money to be made. So I'm pretty comfortable in the draft format. I've been playing it a bunch, so here's just something to shake it up and to see, I don't know, what can I use these Phantom points for. Let me know if you enjoy some Sealed stuff. If people like watching the Sealed, I don't mind recording more of them in the future. Just let me know. And we'll wait a few minutes till this guy fires off. And it begins. Okay, let's see. Let's sort by rarity. What are our big ol' rares? Hey. Well, already I'm noticing two nice green rares, so this will be pretty cool. What does the Woodland Bellware do again? You get the convert mod cost 3 or less? Yeah. So 2 creatures and just an awesome bomb. Also noting a very cool black bomb. Molten Vortex is very playable and good. And I'm not really excited about Honor and Hierarch, and Infinite Obliteration doesn't do anything. Alright, so first thing I want to look at is green and black, just to see what those colors look like. And let me note any other... Ooh, and we have 2 Shamans in the pack. That's probably not going to fly in Sealed, just out of... getting a synergistic deck. I gotta remember, I'm not that experienced in Sealed. I'm such a drafter. Not a whole lot in the artifact realm, but if we need to fill out the deck with some 2/1 or 2/2 action, that's fine. But yeah, I was saying, I'm not really expecting Shaman of the Pack to do anything exciting, because it needs to be way more synergistic, which is harder to do in the Sealed. This is still playable, even though I'm not excited for it. Ooh, 2 Leaf Gilders is very nice, so that's pretty cool. This is Pilgrimage, Orchard Spirit, Summerworld Alpha. So green is already looking pretty strong, especially with our bombs in it. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing some sort of green. It just looks pretty deep already, so I'm just going to assume that that's our base. Let's take a look at black now, which I'm only interested in thanks to this Guiltleaf Winnower. I guess we'll start with Consecrated by Blood, even though I'm not excited for it. Blightcaster I'll put down here in case we end up going somewhere enchantment based. Shadows of the Past goes down as well. Reef Soul's good. I'm really low on removal, though, if I do anything green-black. Interesting to note, however, it does already put us into a fairly playable deck. But again, just no removal can get a little dicey in, especially, always dicey in a limited format, but super dicey in Sealed. I guess we have our Guiltleaf Winnower here. Yeah, I'm not super stoked on black here. I'm scooting these guys over, but let's just set aside our black on this edge here. Alright, let's see what our other colors have. Actually, I didn't look at the elf thing. What? We have 1 elf, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't really want to play this one. 7. I want to play this one. 8. So I can have up to 7 elves, which means if I do go black, green, these are definitely going to jump on in, and they'll probably filter out like the Sylvan Messenger or something like that. Okay, let's just go to the other colors here. Even Battle, no. War Oracle's very nice. Suppression Bonds. These guys are playable. Mind Leap's playable. Okay, so white's super weak. It might be worth splashing the Suppression Bonds if I'm super low on removal. And I do have an Evolving Wilds, so that's an option, but nothing else is powerful enough besides the War Oracle to really get excited about. And the War Oracle being double white means it's not likely to be played, but we'll put that here with the Evolving Wilds. Let's see what red has going here. A decent card. We have enough of big drops though already. Yeah, the Molten Vortex is nice. Similar to white, red's just not deep enough. I mean, these are playable cards, even Call the Full Moon, and I have an Active Treason. However, really what I'm looking for is, since I have a solid creature set, I mean, my green has a powerful creature set. It has 2 Leaf Gilders to ramp into Rock Smaller, Island Colossus, and Woodland Billower. Summerwald Alpha helps make all the lower curve guys better later on in the game, but really in Sealed, just looking at these big old drops. And my only weakness in green is that I have a Might of the Masses and a Drog Invocation, so no removal. So I'm looking for a color to pair with in some kind of removal sense. And even though red has like some serviceable cards in there, it's just nothing really exciting. Still an option though. I mean, it's definitely better than white. There are some good creatures here, but I think I'm leaning still towards the black thing. But let's see. We got 2 Scab Goliaths, which is interesting. Sparring Aeronaut, Calculated Dismissal. The counter spells are like worth caring about in Sealed, and Stratus Walk. Which one's Psychic? Oh no, that one's not playable. But Bone to Ash and Calculated Dismissal are like removal-y type spells. This is kind of fun. But again, the blue is basically doing the same thing that green's already doing, and then really added, unless I add in the counter spells, almost nothing into my removal suite. So whether I like it or not, it actually does seem like black adds most to what I need to fill out like a playable deck, because at least there's a Reeve Soul and a Weight of the Underworld and a Guildleaf Winnower. So that actually is the most removal. This pool just has very little removal in it, which means I am fairly certain the suppression bonds I'm going to try to get played one way or another. And I'm just double checking. Yeah, and then again in red, sure, 2 Titan Strengths are helpful in terms of combat tricks if I want to be some sort of beat down, but really just adds more beefy creatures to the table. And I think the Guildleaf Winnower, along with just like some very solid playable cards here, I'm going to get back to this setup, keeping in mind the suppression bonds that I might want to splash, and then we'll start looking at these other cards. I don't want to Niltness's Pilgrimage at all, so I'm pretty much not playing those in any way, shape, or form. So this will be my discard pile of dorks. Okay, currently at 25 playables. I think Draga's Invocation is actually a fine finisher, although I don't mind cutting it if I find better cards that I want to throw in. But let's take a look. Read the Bones is actually pretty nice and sealed, and some nice card advantage. Our creatures are quite strong. I'm going to put Consecrated Blood here. I'm not too sure I want to play that. I do love my 5 and 6 drop, my 5 drops and my 6 drop, and even if though it's sealed and we're going into a slower format, the fact that I have 2 Leaf Gilders makes it a lot easier to be wanting to play this. Sylvan Messenger is pretty underpowered. Yeah, I'm not playing Noble Hierarch at all. It just does nothing. I shouldn't say it does nothing. I'm even considering playing this suppression bond, so it might be helpful, but I just think it's so weak. If you don't get on turn 1, it just sits there for forever, and it's not like I'm using evasion or anything. Yeah, I'm not playing Noble Hierarch, never mind. There's just no way it works. What are our dorkest creatures? The Sylvan Messenger. The only reason why it's not immediately cut is, let's double, I think I said I had 8 elves. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Is this enough? I think I'm missing one. 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 8. So it does do some service, but I think the Shaman of the Packs aren't like increased in any fantastic way by adding the Sylvan Messenger. I actually like the curve without it. It's just one of the easiest things to cut. Hitchclaw Recluse I'm also considering cutting. Maybe it's an Orchard Spirit. The Deadbridge Shaman and then a Tuco Husk are just more serviceable creatures, some possible card advantage and utility, and also being an elf makes the Shaman of the Packs a little bit better. I love the Empath and Summerworld Alpha in the 4-drop slot in our 5s. The Timberpack Wolf could conceivably go. I'll probably keep it in the main deck as a 2-drop, even though it's, in sealed it's not as big of a deal. But it's something that I do kind of like to consider early on that if I'm not playing another aggressive deck, we can easily cut the Timberback Wolf. We don't really need it. Likewise, I can even consider if I play a really aggressive deck and I'm worried that my 3-drops aren't going to match up well, I can always bring this Rune Servitor as a solid. Actually, you know, maybe it's just better to play the Rune Servitor over the Timberpack Wolf. I don't really care much about each player drawing an extra card. If anything, I like it because I like how I build decks. And we're sort of at parity that way, and I can control when it's used. Yeah, I think I'm going to play the Rune Servitor over the Timberpack Wolf. Only because I have no upside with the Timberpack Wolf. I will play Jiraga's Invocation. These big bomby swings is how Sealed tends to like to win, and I have a good set of creatures, so we'll go that route. Technically, I don't need to cut anything right now. It's more like, do I want to ditch out like a 3-drop for the Suppression Bonds? And I do think it's worth it. With at least having this Evolving Wild here. I'm so low on removal. I have this dorky combat trick, a Reeve Soul, a Weight, and a Guilt Leaf one where I need a Suppression Bonds to handle big threats in Sealed. But I'm just going to have 2 or 3 white sources. Yeah, we're going to have a pretty stretched mana base. Do I want this Consecrated by Blood? I think in green it's pretty nice. I think I am going to keep it. So yeah, I'm just going to ditch one of the 3-drops here to play the Suppression Bonds. I might ditch both and play 18 lands. How's that look? We have 15 creatures, which is a nice set of creatures and a good curve with a bunch of big bombs. But do I even need 18 lands? I have 2 Leaf Guilders, and I only have 1 6. It's not like I'm getting up to a 7-drop. Yeah, I'm going to play the Hitchclaw Recluse. I think I just want to make sure the game does go slow, which Sealed tends to do, but I don't really know how slow the format is, and this is just going to be really helpful for me. I'm not looking to like beat down with Orchard Spirits. If anything, I do want a 3-drop just to slow stuff down and then go boom, 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 Drog Invocation or something. And Hitchclaw Recluse goes really well with Drog Invocation because it'll eat a creature along the way. I might cut it still if I'm worried about how this mana base ends up looking. So let's look at the mana base first and foremost. Definitely want at least 1 plains. This gives us 10 green sources thanks to Revolving Wilds, which is where I want to be with our 3 double black or double green. The problem is I do have a Guilt Leaf Winnower and a Consecrated by Blood, which makes the swamp only up to 7, a little bit problematic, though I do think this is the right split. So really, if this is the baseline, do I want to cut a Hitchclaw Recluse in order to have access to more flexibility with my mana? I'm good with the forest. Do I think I need to have 8 black sources? Oh man, I do, but I didn't even, yeah. Maybe I actually cut the Orchard Spirit, the second Orchard Spirit. I feel like Hitchclaw Recluse is just better in what this deck's trying to do. Yeah, I have so many high drops. I'm going to go ahead and add 1 more Swamp. I'm just going to play 1 Plains for the 1 Suppression Bonds. It gives me 2 sources for it. This will just have a little bit cleaner mana base. And I really don't think this Orchard Spirit's doing anything for me. I have plenty of, 2s and 3s, so I'm not going to die. I don't need a 2 to help stabilize it anyway. I've got plenty on the low curve, especially for Sealed, so I think I prefer this. And I actually like the Hitchclaw Recluse here to help me just get to my card advantage and my bombs. Cool, that's it. Interesting. I'm enjoying myself, having not played Sealed in forever. This is fun. I like it. On to the first round.